Can you explain your anticipated debt and equity financing structure and the level of commitments that you have, and what those financing sources will require to finalize their commitments?
Sure. So to start, I think it mentioned, sort of answering your last question first, a lot of folks, when you talk to them about financing this, say, you need to have something under control, and you need to have land under agreement in some way to be able to have a real serious conversation. And people have said, Bob Kraft couldn't build in Greater Boston. The Red Sox couldn't move their stadium in Greater Boston. It's very challenging to get a stadium built here. So, get yourself a piece of land that you have some designation on, and then in terms of actual commitments. But that being said, Eastern Bank, who has an office here and is committed to the Malden area, has given us a letter of interest to finance a part of our debt. Stepping back to your basic question, our structure is we are looking at a high 40s project cost, 50 million roughly, and we're looking at basically debt of 30, equity of the remainder, sort of a 35%, 65%. We have a group of investors who are successful Boston area venture capitalists who are investing personally and have see this as a project that has a great return from a community perspective, and also is something that one can make some nice money on. It's not venture capital returns, but a nice return on if we're able to meet the projections we have. And we see, the group is we've been at this for 5 years, and these folks have stayed with us and are eager to expand when we look at expanding the total amount we need, which is going to be next year. So the timing here, just so people understand, is we are looking in next February of 2013, after a year of getting permits and getting the land and going through that process, we would look at having a big closing February of 13, where we would raise the money to both build the stadium, buy the team, buy the land, and then February 13 through the spring of 14 would be construction. That's the basic plan here. We're looking at on the debt side, both Eastern Bank, as I said, has submitted, and it's attached in our response to the proposal, a letter of interest to do half of the debt piece. We have had, we're having ongoing discussions with union pension funds. As we've indicated, we're building the stadium with union workers. Both local and national union pension funds are interested in being potential debt holders, lending us money, potentially equity, but certainly on the debt side. And we're working with union folks in both Washington and here on that piece. I think we have a truly great group of investors who have done very well in their other businesses, and they see this as something that is great for the community. We actually, 3 of our investors have been current or former members of the Boston Foundation Board of Directors, which is indicative of their sort of approach to serving the larger community, and they've done well in their business. And we see that there is a large number of folks who have similar profiles who see this as something that would be a good project to be involved with. I'd like to introduce and have come up and talk to also help answer the question, John Gillespie, who's a member of our Board of Advisors, an investor, to speak. And John will tell you something about his background, but just before, he may be a little modest, I should just tell you that in the last 20 years, he is seen as the leading stadium finance investment banker in the country. He was the lead banker for Camden Yards, for the LA Staples Center, the Denver Pepsi Center, the stadium in Arlington, Texas. And he is very qualified to talk about the feasibility of this from a financing perspective. John.